Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Iron Port. This program is proudly brought to you by Serene Insurance, Gold Company Limited, the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority, and Ghana Link, who are the operators of the Integrated Customs Management System. Our proud media partner is the Business and Financial Times. This week, we are looking at GRA's interest and penalty waivers, and we are asking if this is a tool for compliance. We engaged a technical advisor to the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority in the person of Dominic Nab. Here is a report.
The Ghana Revenue Authority actually is working towards ensuring voluntary compliance. And as part of the measures, government has actually deemed it well to actually roll out this amnesty. Now, you would also realize that this pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, has actually affected lives and livelihood. And businesses actually have been badly hit, as a result of that. So what government has done is just to roll out some relief, to taxpayers. Now, what it is that if you owe taxes up to a period of 31st December 2020, and you have interest and liabilities as a result of the taxes that you haven't paid, the law says that take advantage of this amnesty and be forgiven of all your interest and penalties. But the opportunity is actually, in fact, it opened in April, 1st of April, and then it will end on 30th of September this year. But what it is that you, as a taxpayer, you are required to actually arrange to actually settle your indebtedness by 31st December 2021. Or you arrange, either you settle or arrange, whatever it is, the last payment must be made on or before 31st December. When you do that, then you now benefit from the interest and penalty waiver.
You mentioned interest and liabilities. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so
how does one accrue interest and liabilities?
Okay. Now, what it is that taxes are actually a creature of law. Once you earn income, unless it is exempt, the law requires that you pay taxes. So if you fail to pay your taxes, they generate what we call interest. Again, as a taxpayer, you are required to also file your tax returns. A failure to file your tax returns would also generate what we call penalty. So interest and penalty would be as a result of your failure to either file or to pay your taxes.
So how is the GRA able to identify that this particular entity has fallen foul and has accrued interest or has accrued a penalty?
Yeah, so let me just first of all say that every taxpayer or potential taxpayer has 4 obligations. The first obligation is to register with the Ghana Revenue Authority. Now, you register as a taxpayer, and then you also register for your tax types so that we get to know the tax types that you are required to actually, file and pay. The next one has to do with filing of your tax returns. And the third one is to pay your taxes and pay them promptly. And the last one is to disclose your income honestly. Now, if you earn income, unless, as I said, the law exempts you, are required to pay. So for us as GRA, some of the incomes are actually self-assessment oriented. That is to say, the taxpayer must actually file. There are others too that Commissioner General would have to raise an assessment. Whether it is self-assessment or Commissioner General raising an assessment, then it means that once income is involved and the tax is imposed, you must pay. Now, when you don't pay these taxes, they are going to accumulate. Is that okay? And then they will attract interest. So it is as a result of income that taxes are actually imposed. If you don't earn income, you don't pay tax. That is the truth of the matter. You get it? And the law also allows taxpayers to enjoy what we call some relief when it comes to losses that they make.
Right.
If you make a loss and then you are in a priority area, the law says that you can carry over your loss for 5 years. If you are not in the priority area, you can carry over your loss for 3 years. So what we are saying is that if you earn income, the law requires you to pay tax unless you are exempt. If you also make losses, you are required to carry over your losses and use it against your future income before taxes are paid.
Okay. Yeah. All right. How pervasive or rampant would you say this particular trend is where, you find people accruing penalties and interests?
I find it quite mind-boggling, I should say, when the taxes are imposed and they are not paid. Because the point is that GRA does not actually tax capital. What GRA taxes is income.
Right.
And income is when you actually deduct your cost. Is that okay? From your revenue, realized. The difference becomes what we call your income, for which taxes are imposed. Now, if taxes are imposed on your income, you are required to pay, because that is what the nation requires to be able to run. You see, taxes are oxygen that the revenue, that government actually uses to run this, country. So if you don't pay your tax, then that becomes a challenge. Government finds it very difficult to be able to actually run its machinery to ensure that we are able to get what we need as a country.
All right. So we want you to tell us the numbers or figures, if you have them, as in how many businesses have attracted, this particular, since you rolled out in April.
Oh, countless, so many. In fact, the response is very good, and we are also hoping that once the period is getting to an end, many more will take advantage, So we'll actually be able to know the numbers after the period is over. But for now, once they are still filing to take advantage, we are still counting.
All right. So far, we have barely, what do we call it? Barely a week to the close of this particular opportunity or window of opportunity that you have given to them. Would you describe the exercise as a success?
Oh, yes. For us, yes, it is. You see, the point is this. This is an opportunity government has given, which taxpayers who are actually, have arrears, they must take advantage. If we don't do that after the period, then it means that Commissioner General may have to just enforce action. So for me, I think it's a very good opportunity that taxpayers are required to actually take advantage to reduce their burden. You see, government has been very sensitive because the COVID-19 has actually created some difficulties for businesses. So interest and penalties are also taxes as well. But government says only pay the principal so that the interest and penalty don't pay. So it is good to take advantage. If you fail to take advantage of this, then that becomes an issue.
So I want you to tell us what sanctions are in place or awaits those who would fail to comply.
Well, for now, we are hoping and believing that all taxpayers will take advantage of this opportunity. If they fail to take advantage of this opportunity and then they also do not settle their tax liabilities, then that would actually force the Commissioner General to ensure that all the enforcement tools available to the Commissioner General would be deployed. But of course, Commissioner General would have to assess all the available tools and use the one that would actually be cost effective.
Right. Okay, so imagine that I am a business that has attracted a penalty or interest. How do I access this particular opportunity that you have given? Okay,
thank you very much. In fact, the law, immediately the law was passed, Commissioner General came out with a guidelines regarding how it is supposed to be administered. We have a form that is where you have to actually either you pick it up from any office of GRA or you pick it up from you download it from our website. Now you are supposed to actually complete the form, indicating your TIN, your business, and then the taxes which have been assessed, then the penalties, and then the interest, and then the arrangement that you are making to actually take advantage of this opportunity. All those things are quite spelled out clearly.
So all I need is to just be wary and then perhaps look out for the GRA. Do you have a portal that the fellow can go into?
Yes. But as I said, just any GRA office or you go to our website, you can download the form and then complete it. Yeah.
All right. So as a country, what would you say is our level of tax compliance?
Well, to the extent that we are collecting taxes, I wouldn't say it is bad, but we still have to just work, hard at it. I have always said that it is a constitutional responsibility when it comes to tax payment. And again, given also the fact that we need to actually be able to run, this country as a nation, then tax payment becomes very legitimate. In fact, I don't think that it's even right for GRA to even come out and ask persons that owe or that have taxes to pay. But it's a constitutional obligation. If I will go to the Constitution, Article 41J, it is there. Disclose your income honestly to the institution that is responsible. In this case, Ghana Revenue Authority. So once you earn income, you must pay. I always say that if for nothing at all, the peace that we are enjoying in this country is enough to tell us that we need to actually pay our taxes. And government must also run national health insurance. Are you getting it?
Absolutely.
Yes. So when you fall sick, you have to go to the hospital. Fortunately for us, we have this free education. All these things must be underwritten, and they have to be underwritten through taxes. So if you don't pay taxes, how does government, run? Yeah. You get it? Often people make the claim that, government can borrow. But even if government borrows, government will have to pay through taxes. You get it? So the taxes are actually the oxygen that we need to be able to run this country. Without that, we are actually going to fail. And again, COVID-19 has taught us useful lessons that we need to actually be inward-looking. Is that okay? Otherwise, if we are relying on donors, I can tell you there's donor fatigue. And again, they are also struggling with this COVID-19, just as any other country. Why can't we just look within and raise the money? So we just have to be honest. We have to be truthful. And we have to actually ensure that we pay our taxes as and when they fall due.
Now, as an authority, what have you done to encourage and motivate people to voluntarily, take their responsibility or obligation of paying taxes seriously?
Commissioner General has done so much in this regard. What we have done is just to look at the tax landscape and look at the bottlenecks and see how we can clear them. For example, it was always the case that you needed to just go to GRA office to pay your taxes. We felt that, look, no. Is it possible taxes can be paid online? Yes, that has been achieved. That's a very significant milestone for the Commissioner General. Again, when it comes to filing, we also expect that anywhere you are, you should be able to file your tax returns. You don't need to just walk to GRA office. That has also been achieved. That's a significant milestone for GRA. You get it? So we keep doing that. And now education. We keep educating taxpayers. Thankfully, what we are doing is also education by your courtesy. So we are grateful. You get it? So constantly, we try to actually look at what it is that would aid us, be able to strengthen the structures that will ensure that taxpayers are able to pay promptly. We also engage them. We give prompting. Is that okay? Through the newspapers, social media. You are supposed to pay, giving you a reminder. Is that okay? Rescheduling, tax payment, for you to pay comfortably. These are the things that we are doing to encourage voluntary tax compliance. This amnesty is also another important, area to ensure that we are able to actually have voluntary tax compliance. We are doing so much. We are doing so much in that regard.
All right. Saying you are doing so much, have you done an assessment to see whether the so much that you are doing is actually eliciting the right, as with the results?
Oh, in fact, last year we made a target. Is that okay? And this year we are sure to meet the target by the grace of God. So that tells you that the structures that we have put in place are working. If for any reason you receive a gift, we expect you to come and pay. Once gift is received, it has become due. Come and pay. That is it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I would like to stick a bit with that because it's something that you said you would do to enforce the law, because it's right now lawful, it's legal, that when someone receives a gift exceeding a certain threshold, the fellow would have to pay taxes on it. Have you had instances where people would walk into the GRA and say, this fellow has given me so and so gift, this is how much it's worth, and I'm coming to pay taxes on it? Let
me just start by saying that there's no threshold any longer in the law. Any gift that is received is taxable. But you see, what the law has done this time around,
if it is 200 cedis,
whatever it is, even if it's 1 cedi, once it's a gift, you have to pay. But you see, there has been some paradigm shift in terms of the law. What the law has done is that if you receive gifts and the gifts are as a result of your employment, then you add it to your employment income. For example, you work at Gapuha. Somebody brings you a hamper because of your work. Then we expect that you quantify the market value of the hamper and add it to your employment income.
So I am around and maybe a friend of mine is coming from abroad, UK, US, and then brings me a television set. What am I supposed to do?
What you are supposed to do quickly is just to get the market value of the television set. Is that okay? And raise an assessment. Is that okay? Once it is self-assessment, what it is that how much is the market value? You impose 15% on it, and you walk to GRA office. In fact, you pay online. If you don't come out to do that, and we get to know, then that becomes an issue. We'll raise an assessment on you, and you are supposed to pay. And we determine interest, as it were, on you.
You just mentioned the president's address at the bar conference in the Upper East region recently. Since then, have you realized any changes, even if it's marginal?
Yes. You see, GRA has always been very proactive. Even before the bar, let me first of all even start by saying that we actually are grateful to the Ghana Bar Association for making tax payment one of their topics that they actually treated, for which the president had the opportunity to actually share his thoughts. We are very grateful to them. That is one. Number two, before even the Ghana Bar Association, Commissioner General had asked that we write to all the professional bodies, get data, reconcile with what we have, Those that are not in there, we try to actually get them to pay. You get it? So that was actually ongoing. Unfortunately for us, the president also made that call. You get it? So yes, we are on it, trying to actually get the data and do the reconciliation. Those that are not, in our records, we get them to actually come on board and then we pay. They pay the taxes. Fortunately, again, as I said, we have this amnesty that is running. So we are appealing to them to take advantage. Is that okay, of the amnesty? The amnesty is for persons who haven't actually registered with Ghana Revenue Authority at all. Come and register and be assessed to tax, interest, and penalties. Then you are forgiven of interest and penalties. If again you have also been on our tax reader, but you haven't actually paid your taxes, they have accumulated. This is an opportune time for you to actually come and then pay your taxes and work freely so that you can also talk about, things that are not done right. You see, often people just want to talk about the fact that certain things must be done. But you see, if we don't pay our taxes, how do we demand accountability? Let's pay our taxes and we can't actually be encouraged to also demand accountability.
Right. So the president was explicit when he mentioned professionals. He says professionals are not paying their taxes and due to the state. Is there a mechanism by the GRA to be able to identify these professionals? Do you have a database of all the professionals we have, and have you reached out to them to impress upon them to, do the needful?
I'm not too sure that was what the president said. What he said was that when it comes to tax payment, professionals have a poor culture of payment of taxes. That was what he said. He didn't say they are not paying taxes.
Right.
But when it comes to taxes, we have direct taxes and indirect taxes. Some of them import cars. They pay taxes. Is that okay? They eat in the restaurants. They pay VAT. There are certain taxes that they pay, obviously. And when it comes to income tax, some of them are employees. They work for employers, for which their PAY is deducted as source and paid to GRA. To that extent, they are paying. I get it. But what he is saying is that a good number of them are actually not giving a good account of themselves. So that was what he was actually talking about.
Right.
You get it. And as I said, GRA has already started. You get it. Trying to reconcile the data. We have written to all the professional bodies. You get it.
Right.
To give us their list, because the law requires that before even your license is renewed. You get it. You are able to get what we call tax clearance certificate. So we want to actually put in place that kind of this and insist on it. Without the tax clearance certificate from GRA, no license should be renewed. That is what the law says. Are you getting it? And I'm sure the lawyers are law abiding, and they will take opportunity and make things right.
Right. You just mentioned you've written to. Right. I told you to also tell us about the processes or steps that one will have to undertake or go through to access amnesty.
Oh, yes. So what it is that you will just need to download the form and complete it. You understand? But first of all, you have to ask yourself, do I have any principal taxes that I haven't paid? Is that okay? Up to 31st December 2020, you must establish that first. And once you establish that, are there interest, are there penalties? Once you are able to establish all this, then you ask yourself, how do I actually go about paying? Because the payment must be made on or before 31st December this year. It cannot go beyond this year. Once you are not able to liquidate your indebtedness that you are finished with GRA by 31st December, then you cannot benefit from the interest and penalties. Is that okay? So these are the things. So you need to actually apply. You have to consciously apply. Nobody's forcing you.
Right.
If you don't apply, what it means is that you are prepared to actually take care of both your principal interest and all your principal interest and penalties. Are you getting it? Right. It is actually, if you like, an opportunity that has been granted that you can grab or not grab. Government is not forcing you. Are you getting it? And when you take advantage of it, nobody in future will ask you to come and pay those interest and penalties which have been forgiven. And again, you will not also be prosecuted, which is also very important. Are you getting it? But beyond that, if you fail to take advantage of all this, then the Commissioner General would have no option but to use the enforcement measures available to him to actually collect his money.
Right.
I'm sure you've been educated on your tax obligations as well as where and when to file your tax returns. Iron Port returns after this break.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Welcome back from the break. Now, news and activities happening within the port and maritime industry next.
A stowaway from Guinea-Bissau, Suleimana Baldi, has been disembarked at the port of Tema after being nabbed at high seas. Suleimana Baldi reportedly joined the vessel MV Aurora via a mooring rope in the port of Bissau on September 13. The 28-year-old, who joined the vessel with hopes of reaching the United Kingdom for greener pastures, was found by the crew of the ship on the 15th. According to the port security manager, Colonel Emmanuel Nyante, he was disembarked in Tema due to proximity. He stated that the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has completed its processes and handed the culprit over to the Immigration Service to be repatriated to his home country. The port security manager indicated that the ports of Ghana have for a long time now not recorded any cases of successful stowaways due to stringent measures deployed by the port authorities.
For a long time, we've not had any stowaway because of the measures that have been put in place at the port of Tema. There is a procedure we call roomaging. We use trained working dogs to move within the vessel to ensure that we don't have any stowaway in the vessel before the vessel sets off. So this is one way we have had that kind of success in the port of Tema.
He also urged sister ports to further collaborate against the stowaway menace.
I think that we need to share procedures, what we do in each other's ports while we are having non-reportage on stowaways in Ghana.
Colonel Emmanuel Nyante also advised potential stowaways against the dangers of the act.
In the worst case scenario, sometimes when you are discovered on the high seas, you can be thrown overboard. So these are things that potential stowaways, those who think they want to embark on that, should think about it.
It's now time for some international ports and maritime news.
CMA CGM issued a brief statement on September 20 to customers confirming that the French shipping company has again experienced a data breach. In the written statement, The company sought to minimize the reports of damage, telling customers that its engineers had discovered the security issues. They said that their teams have immediately developed and installed security patches. Reports, however, said that the hackers were threatening a large release of data as a means of demonstrating the carelessness of corporations at protecting customer data and privacy. Protesters have crippled operations at Sudan's main port as the country sinks deeper into political and socio-economic crisis. The situation has been exacerbated by what the Sudanese transitional government describes as an attempted coup by military officers and civilians on Tuesday. Demonstrators have blocked the main road connecting Port Sudan with the rest of the country since Friday last week, paralyzing operations at the main container and oil export terminals. They contend that they were locked out of a peace deal signed in October last year. Last weekend, the U.S. Coast Guard rescued a fisherman who had been badly injured by a 300-pound stingray while trawling off the coast of Long Island. James McKenna, a crew member aboard the trawler Shelby Ann, was working on board on Sunday evening when he was struck by a giant stingray. The creature left 2 6-inch-plus spikes embedded in his leg. His crewmates gave him first aid and made a VHF distress call to the U.S. Coast Guard sector Long Island Sound. The command center consulted with a flight surgeon who recommended an immediate medevac, and a Jayhawk helicopter crew out of Air Station Cape Cod got underway to assist.
Schedules of vessels in the port, those at anchorage and those expected in the coming week, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rates you need to know to clear your goods from the port next. We have your comments next.
I want to know, supposing I have an uncustomized vehicle, which year make is 2005, is the average penalty for that vehicle going to be waived, or which waiver are they talking of? Hi, the technical advisor to the Commissioner General says there is general amnesty and that you can take advantage of that till the end of the year. Hobby says, this gift tax there I can't understand. We need more understanding to accept it if it is the law. Hello Iron Port, please, how do I see that someone has paid withholding tax on my behalf? Hi, tax clearance certificate is the evidence to show someone has paid tax on your behalf. Go to the authorized agent for your tax clearance certificate. Our GRA official said steps are in place for taxpayers to print their own certificates soon after payment.
That's all for this week's episode of Iron Port. Thank you for watching and thanks to the entire crew. Join us same time next week.